Namaste. Welcome to this practice of yoga for runners. And today we're going to do a sun salutation based practice. We'll start slow, get a little bit quicker, and limber up all of the places and hopefully nurture all of the joints that you need as well. So before we get started, please remember with yoga that we're trying to breathe in and out through our noses where possible. If you feel the need to breathe out through your mouth occasionally, that's okay. As we work through this sequence, the breath and movement are coordinated, but first concentrate on getting your movements and then the breath will come. It just naturally fits together after a while. And when you're practicing, we all carry some level of discomfort with us, but we don't want to make it worse with our practice. So please go gently with your body, explore a movement, particularly if it's your first time. And if it feels awkward, if you're unsure, if you get any numbness or pain or tingling, then rest down and seek advice. Seek advice from a yoga teacher or wait for a modification. Today, I might use these two blocks and you might want something that just brings the floor up towards you for some of our practices. And a yoga space, but you don't need a yoga mat if you don't have one, it's no problem. Okay, so let's get started. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to start with our feet comfortable distance apart, a little softness in the knees, and begin by gently turning from side to side. Here we want the movement to happen, the chest to lead it. So we're moving around the central axis of our body, the central line from the crown of the head to between the feet. And at the same time, we allow our head to follow that movement, but not lead it. The shoulders to soften, the elbows and the fingers to be relaxed. On days when your mind is busy, you might come to the mat and find that this movement starts very quickly, but as you do it, trying to just slow down ever so slightly, make it more purposeful, more mindful. And it helps us to also control that racing mind. Draw your abdominal muscles inwards and upwards. Just gently enough to feel some stability from the core, from your center. And when you're ready, you can begin to turn on your toes. So pivoting from side to side. And the movement is now different, perhaps slowed down ever so slightly. There's some twisting across the pelvis, across the hips, into the legs. Just checking throughout the practice that your knees feel comfortable. So anything that makes your knees feel uncomfortable needs an adjustment. And then do a little dip of the knees in the center. So a little bouncing squat and twist. And if you can, touching your opposite shoulder in front of you, your opposite hip behind you. Or somewhere else that your hands feel comfortable landing. You can let the bounce go and simply pivot. And then let your feet rest and allow the body to slowly find its way back to steadiness in the center. When you come back to steadiness, there's an impetus with some of us, particularly regular yoga practitioners, to square our feet up all the time. And I want you to let go of any pre-existing alignment cues that you might have worked with in the past, because today we're going to find the most comfortable place for our bodies, and our pelvises and our spines and our bodies in general all put together differently, all different kinds of shapes. So you can allow your feet, your hips to find their own most comfortable alignment today. And here We're just going to do a few gentle shoulder rolls. I like to start with these really small ones, or small as in just the shoulders working, and find a slightly larger range of movement as I go, and in the opposite direction. If you have any clonks or clicks, try to work with them and around them rather than pushing through them. I've got one clunky shoulder. Then we're going to take the elbows and soften them a little and just roll the elbow in a nice big circle on one side and then the other. Rolling the elbow on one side and the other. And this is a sort of freer movement of the shoulder. There's more of the body involved. I'm going to do a few more in this backward direction. You'll feel your torso getting involved, maybe a touch of control across the abdomen to help stabilize. And then we'll go the opposite way. And see if you can feel that movement across your back, underneath your shoulder blades, down the sides of the body, across the chest. We'll do 2 more on each side in this direction. And I can't count, so I'm going to make that one the last one and come back to standing steady. And then just gently lifting tall, not just through the neck, but through the whole of the spine. And gently draw your chin towards your chest. Enough that feels like you're experiencing some length, but not pressing the chin down. So it's just gravity that's holding you in this position. We will roll our right ear towards our right shoulder and roll the chin back to the chest, left ear to left shoulder. And chin to chest. Let's do a few more to each side. Chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Now, if you want to, you can lift the chin so you join up your 2 semicircles into a big circle, but only if that feels good for your neck. Some people don't enjoy that. Some necks don't need it. Let's go the other way if you're doing circles. We want to avoid taking the head behind the body if possible. Finishing with the chin towards the chest, raising the head. Just making a few more movements through the chest and the shoulders. I really like to take my hands behind me, interlace my fingers, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, and then lengthen a little bit into the arms. So I'm not trying to lock my arms absolutely straight. I'm trying to draw the softened elbows towards each other, find a little bit of length, and then I'm going to reach my left hand over to my right hip behind me, so I feel already an openness on this right shoulder, on this left shoulder even, sorry. So here, I'm also going to tuck in that right elbow. So it feels like a really nice opening across the chest, and just turning your head from side to side. All we're doing is swaying the chin. We're not trying to get anywhere in particular. It's not about how far you can turn your head. When you're ready, you can drop your chin towards your chest. Gently roll your right ear to your right shoulder and chin back to the chest. Just that sort of quarter circle, right ear to right shoulder, chin to chest. One more. Right ear to right shoulder, chin to chest. Returning to center, release the arms. Redraw your shoulder blades towards each other. Lengthen the arms just a little. Keep the elbows a little soft. Draw the elbows towards each other. Feel that sort of hollow space underneath the rib cage. And then draw the back of the right hand over to the left hip. Tuck in the left elbow. And first, just spend a moment experiencing the stretch itself or the openness of the posture, and then turning the head a little. Explore how it feels on this side. We've all got one stronger side or one more open side. And then when you're ready, chin to chest, rolling the left ear to the left shoulder and back to center. left ear to left shoulder, back to center, left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest, and then relaxing the arms, raising your head, maybe shaking out your hands, rolling your wrists, and as we've been standing a while, just shaking out the legs as well. Okay, so we're going to do today, now we've limbered a little bit, we're going to do our classical sun salutation. So this is a little bit different from an Ashtanga one or a power yoga one. So it's a classical sun salutation. I'm using this one because it's got lots of lunges in, which are very nice and nurturing for the hips. Gives us lots of opportunity to get into those areas that you use as you run. And so if you're not used to a classical sun salutation, sorry, we'll get quite warm, chuck that to one side, then you can, the first one will just be nice and slow. But if you want to watch first, then that's good too. So coming to the front of your yoga space, you can stand with your feet quite close together, about hip width, slightly wider if you prefer. And we're going to explore spreading the feet. So lifting the toes, spreading out the toes as much as you can. Press your big toes down and then take the other toes as individually as possible to the mat. And try and feel that width of space, that breadth of the front of the foot. And then from here, feeling the parts of the foot that are pressing down into the mat and lifting the center of the foot and the parts of the foot that are not in contact with the mat upwards as you feel that lift through the whole body. Maybe a touch of lift in the abdominal muscles or the pelvic floor. Turning the palms of the hands forward so that the shoulder blades just find themselves actively drawn towards each other. And lengthening through the back of the neck so the chin is not too lifted. We haven't hunched the shoulders. We're not arching the back. We're just standing really tall. I like to put a little bit of activation here in the buttock muscles because it helps me to feel like I've got that stability from my center and from which to move. And this is Tadasana, mountain pose. So we'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we'll begin. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring your palms together at the center of your chest. Breathing in, reach the arms up, just up. And as you breathe out, soften your knees, bending gently from the hips, folding forward, hands to the feet and head to the knees, or in that general direction. So that's our first forward bend of the day. We're going to spend a little bit of time here. Just check you're not gripping with your toes. And if you feel comfortable, you can gently sway from side to side. Now, if your hands don't naturally touch the floor, just put something underneath them to give you a little bit of space. And we're keeping our knees nice and soft, maybe paddling slightly through one and then the other, or you can keep them bent entirely and simply sway from one side to the other. If you like, you can hold elbow to elbow, which provides a sort of additional weight, so you use the effect of gravity to bring you into the posture. And you don't have to do as much swinging or movement as this. If it's not there for you, just spend a few deep breaths, easing yourself into the spine, into this new shape. We'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bring yourself to the center, and then as you inhale, step your right foot back as far as it will naturally go and take your right knee down to the mat. So our first lunge of the day, we're going to do a little swaying here as well. So imagine you're doing hula hooping with your hips. You're moving them backwards, sideways, forwards, sideways, backwards, sideways, forwards, sideways. So we're going to rock like this, and you might find that you also rock around on your front foot. Your front knee is going to lengthen and bend, lengthen and bend. Just finding, you can hula hoop in both directions, of course. You might find it useful to press off your left foot and then press off your right foot. So pressing off your left foot to move the hips backwards, pressing off the right hip to move the hips forwards, the right foot even. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Place your hands towards the floor, flat if you can. Tuck the back toe. We're going to take a deep breath in, lengthen through the back leg, and then hold the breath as we come into a plank pose. Now in plank pose, it doesn't matter how high up your hips are, but what we want to do is keep them above hip height, if that makes sense. So hip height or above and not below, because that's not useful, okay? So firm in the belly, firm in the buttocks, exhaling, knees down to the mat, and then bending the elbows to bring the chest and chin towards the floor, or chest and forehead if you prefer. When you come into this pose, pointing the toes to bring the legs flat, and you can tuck your forehead towards the floor by tucking the chin in. Rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, we're going to very gently firm the buttocks, press the feet down, and then lift the head and chest, breathing in into a low cobra. To come out, we're going to exhale onto hands and knees, and then from hands and knees, unfold ourselves into the first down dog of the day. And in the first down dog of the day, again, keeping the knees nice and soft, then walking one heel towards the mat and then the other. One heel to the mat and then the other. It's sometimes useful here to remember you can let the movement come into the spine. So you can move in the shoulders, you can turn your head from side to side with the movement, if that feels good to you. You can keep the belly muscles just gently engaged to help keep the lift in the tailbone. And then coming back to your center, we're going to bounce ourselves forward towards the hands. So bending the knees deeply, press off the toes and bounce yourself forward. So your shoulders come over your hands and then bounce back, hips towards the heels. Bouncing forwards, shoulders towards the hands, bouncing back, hips to heels. One more time, bouncing forwards, bouncing back. And this time, step your right foot forward to your hands. Inhale as you open your chest looking forward, left knee is down. And then exhale, stepping both feet back to the front, check their hip width apart, forward bending, scooping the belly in, softening through the spine. To come up, look forward and lift your head and chest first. Then inhale the arms out to the side, bend the knees, drop your bottom, drive with your legs to stand tall. And as you exhale, bring your hands back to the center of your chest. As you inhale, come back to mountain pose, palms turned forward, standing tall. Exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. Inhaling, reaching up and opening. Exhale, soften the knees, bend forward from the hips, lengthening through the spine, folding into your forward bend. Inhale as you step the left foot back, left knee comes to the mat, and we're going to do that hula hooping again here in our lunge position. So the right foot can move all around as we hula hoop the hips in one direction. And you can feel the femur bones, the thigh bones moving in the hip sockets. We're going to go in the opposite direction as well. It might be that one direction feels more useful than the other, and in which case, when you're practicing on your own, you can always do just one direction. Lovely. Coming back to the center, press the hands down towards the mat, lift the back knee, inhale, and then hold your breath as you come into plank pose. Press the mat away from you, press your heels away from you, firm your buttocks, firm your belly. Exhale, knees down, and bending the elbows, chest and chin or forehead to the floor. Point the toes to allow the legs to rest flat and take the forehead towards the floor. Firm the belly, press down with the feet, and inhale, just lifting the head and shoulders a little from the mat, a low cobra. As you exhale, come onto hands and knees, and then up into downward facing dog. So here again, walking your dog. So if you did not so much movement through the rest of the spine, maybe this time you want to do a little bit more undulation. So you can press through one hand and then the other as you press through one heel and then the other. Maybe turning your head, keeping your neck nice and free, your shoulders mobile as well as your legs. Then coming back to center, we're going to bounce forward 3 times. So soften the knees, hips drop towards the heels, press off the toes, bring the shoulders over the hands, and then dropping back, hips to heels. Press off the toes, shoulders towards the hands, hips to heels. One more time forward like this, bouncing. And then you're going to step forward with your left foot. Same principle, same movement, opening the chest as you inhale. Exhaling both feet to the front, hip width apart if you can. And then to come up, inhale, lift the belly, lift the arms, bend the knees to drop the bottom, press through the legs to stand tall, and exhale, the hands back to the center of the chest. Release your arms, just take a moment. So these were we did 1 to each side, 1 left, 1 right. These are our opening limbering rounds. And now we're going to go just a little bit quicker. For those of you who are more familiar, that will perhaps be a welcome bonus. And if you are still getting used to it, just follow the instructions as best you can. And you can always come back to do this again and again and again, which is how we do practice, just like with your running. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit to this round as well. So let's get started. Standing in Tadasana, turning the palms forward, lengthening up to the crown of the head, inhaling here. Exhaling, bringing the palms together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, and this time, if you've got space, you can reach the hands a little behind you to open your chest. Exhale, folding forward with soft knees, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, knee to the mat, and this time we're going to just shift our weight backwards and forwards. So we're going to press through the heel of the left foot, lengthening the back of the left leg. It does not need to be straight. And then press through the right toes to bring the hips forward a little bit and lengthen through the front of the right side of the pelvis. So pressing backwards and forwards. It's not about the shape you make, it's about the feeling that you have. Try doing a couple, keeping the left toes down on the floor. Doing just 1 more, any variety. And then in your lunge, take your hands down to the mat, untuck your back leg, inhale, and hold your breath coming into plank pose. Then we're going to hold plank for 1 deep breath in. And 1 deep breath out, through the mouth if you like. 1 more deep breath in. And then exhale, knees, chest, and chin or forehead to the floor. Point your toes, roll your shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, lift just the chest and head away from the floor. Exhale, up into downward facing dog, through hands and knees if you need to. And in your downward dog, if it still feels like you need to paddle, you can paddle through the backs of the legs, and that's not unusual. But if you want to do an alternative, dropping the heels to the right side of the body, and then bending the knees deeply and straightening, coming up onto your toes. Drop your heels to the left, bend the knees and straighten. Press through the hands. Drop the heels to the right, bend the knees and straighten. Up to toes, drop the heels to the left, bend the knees and straighten. Coming back to center. It's a really nice one to stretch out the sides of the body. We're going to bounce forward twice and then step forward on our 3rd bounce. So drop your hips towards your heels, soft knees, pressing forward once, twice, and step your right foot forward to your hands. Drop your back knee down and look into your right. Make a big circle with your right hand. Try not to let your right hip fall out too much. Let's make 2 more of these big circles. Very good. Turning to the front, inhaling as you lengthen your back leg, and exhale, step the left foot to the front, fold into your forward bend. To come up, Inhale, look forward, lift the arms, lift the chest, bend the knees, press through the legs to stand tall. And exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, turn the palms forward as you stand tall in Tadasana. Exhale, hands together, center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, opening the chest. Exhale as you fold forward, hands to feet, head to knees, soft knees if you need to. Inhale, step the left foot back, knee to the floor, and just let your breath find its natural rhythm as we gently lengthen through the front leg and then press from the left foot to lengthen through the back leg. So we're lengthening through the front. It can be toes up or toes down. Do a variety of both and you'll get a sense of extending different structures. Lovely job. We're going to do 2 more, swaying backwards and forwards. I'm going to finish with a nice toes up one, which is my preferred option. And then hands onto the mat, lengthen the back leg, inhale, hold your breath as you come into plank pose, and exhale as you hold plank pose. So firm the buttocks a little, inhale, lift the belly, press the heels away from you as you exhale, knees, chest, and forehead or chin to the floor. Point your toes, firm the belly, firm the feet towards the floor, inhale, lift the head and chest up, low cobra. As you exhale, either through hands and knees or straight up into downward facing dog. And this time we're going to paddle if you need to paddle. It's always nice to have a little paddle. I like to do that myself. This time we're going to keep the knees a little softened and simply sway the hips from side to side. So last time we swayed the heels from side to side. This time we're still pressing through the hands to lift the tailbone. We're still pressing the chest towards the thighs. And you can maybe look under one arm and then the other as you wiggle your hips from side to side. Nice job, everyone. Okay, coming back to center, bouncing forward twice, stepping forward on the third bounce. Drop your hips to your heels, bounce once, bounce twice, and inhale the left foot forward to the hands, opening your chest. Leave your right hand down, turn a little to your left, and make 3 big circles with your left hand. See if you can feel the buttocks working behind the body. A little twist here as well. Coming back to center, inhale as you lengthen the back leg. Exhale, step both feet to the front, hands to feet, head to knees. And then to come up, inhale, lift the belly, lift the arms, bend the knees to drop the bottom, press through the legs. Reach tall, and then exhale the hands back to the center of the chest. Inhale, release the arms. We'll move into our third round. Exhale, hands to namaste. Center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, open your chest, lift your belly, maybe open the hands behind you a little. Exhale as you fold forward, a lovely swallow dive towards the mat. Inhale as you step the right foot back, knee to the mat. And this time, we're gently going to bend and lengthen the legs. So at the moment, the legs are bent. If you need to bring blocks here to support your hands, you can. So we're going to extend through the back heel, the back leg, the front leg. So we're not lifting the torso. We're keeping the chest down towards the floor if possible. The legs don't have to be straight either. They can be a little soft if you want to. And then we're going to bend the knees back down towards the mat. So we're lengthening and then bending the knees. We'll do one more. Lengthening and bending the knees. Very good. I'm going to take the hands either side of the front foot, lengthen the back leg, inhale, and then hold the breath as we come into plank. I'm going to exhale here in plank and do a side plank variation if you'd like to. So for this one, let your breath just find its natural rhythm. Drop the heels to the left and lift the right arm up. Press up underneath the side of the body. Feel the lift, particularly with this, the hips on the underneath is what I mean. And back to center. Okay, and in plank, we'll take a breath. And then drop the heels to the right. Lift underneath the right side of the body to lift the left arm up. And then back to center again. Excellent stuff. From here, exhaling, knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor. Point your toes. And we're going to do a little variation here. So taking your hands wider than your mat or your space, wider than your body. Press the tops of the feet down. Press the pubic bone down a little, engage the buttocks a little, engage the belly muscles a little. We're going to press down into the hands to raise the body up without raising the head. Very good. And then here, you can look to one side as you press away. Looking to your right, press away from your left side, come back to center, look down at the mat, and then press to the other side. Come back to center, looking to the right, come back to center, looking to the left. Let's do one more to each side, a little bit like a cobra press up. Back to center, and folding all the way down to the mat, hands back onto the mat, underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes, come up to hands and knees or straight to downwards facing dog if you'd like to. Excellent. So here in down dog, we're going to do a little three-legged dog variation. So keeping your left foot on the floor, doesn't matter if your left leg is bent or not. Firm in the belly muscles, lift the right leg up to wherever it naturally goes to. So we're not looking for arching the back, so it doesn't need to be really high here, just a sort of natural lift. Then we're going to keep the left knee soft and bounce up and down on the left knee at the same time as we sort of feel the lift in the right leg. Lovely job. And then from here, if you can, step your right foot forward to your hands. So you come into a wide lunge, but with the back knee straight. And if you need to do a little bit of adjustment to get there, find your way. So left hand stays on the floor, right knee bends a little, so you get that feeling of openness across the underneath of the pelvis. And we're going to do 3 more arm circles here. Very good. 1, 2, and 3. Super duper. Inhale as you look to the front. Exhale as you step both feet to the front, hands to feet, and head to knees. Inhale to come up. Lift the belly, lift the arms, drop the bottom if you need to. Press through, reaching up, and exhaling the hands down to the center of the chest. Inhale in Tadasana, turn the palms forwards. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching up, open the front of the body if you want to, lifting the belly as you fold forward, exhaling, hands to feet and head to knees. Inhale, step your left foot back, knee to the mat, just for a moment. And then we're going to go into our bending and straightening again. So if you want something underneath the hands, you can. We're going to lengthen both legs, left heel comes to the floor, and you can take your right toes away from the floor if you want to, if that's helpful, and then bending both knees. Straightening and bending. So they don't need to be absolutely straight, and if it's not helpful for you, they don't need to be absolutely bent either. Bending, straightening, we'll do just one more. Very good. And then we're going to lengthen through the back leg. Inhale, hands on the mat, hold the breath and come into plank pose. And again, we're going to do our side plank variation. So I prefer to do this with my feet apart. If you want to do it with your feet together, you can. It has a bit more of a shearing effect on the spine, so I prefer to avoid that. Press through the heels, drop the heels to one side. Inhale as you lift the arm up, the opposite arm up. And exhaling down. I forgot my left and right. Drop your heels to the other side. Inhale, arm up. And releasing down. Let's do one more to each side. Now we know what we're doing. And down. Dropping the heels, lifting the arm. And down. In the center, inhale. And then exhale, knees, chest, and forehead or chin to the floor. Pointing the toes. So this time we're going to take the hands apart, but we're going to be on our fingertips instead of on our hands.
Press the tops of the feet down, press the pubic bone down, lift the belly, lift the buttocks a little, press into the hands, roll the body up away from the floor as high as feels comfortable for you, but keep the elbows a little soft. Draw your shoulder blades down the back to open the chest. And if you want to, you can do a little sway from side to side here. You don't have to, but you can. And then very gently releasing down. Excellent. Hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes, and then exhaling up into downward facing dog via your hands and knees if you want to. And we're doing our three-legged dog variation. So if you need to take a little paddle with your legs, you can. Lifting the tailbone, lifting the belly. I'm going to stretch the left leg up. Doesn't need to be super high. We're just looking for a little height. And then softly bending and lengthening the right knee. So you're getting a little bit bouncy, finding the potential, the power in the pelvis. And when you're ready, you can see if you can step your left foot up to your hands. Leave your right arm down rather. Press through your right heel and then make 3 big circles with the left hand as you turn towards the left. Very good. Smashing. Inhale as you look forward. Exhale as you step both feet to the front, hands to feet and head to knees. To come up, lift the belly, lift the arms, drop the bottom, press through the legs to stand tall, and exhaling the hands back to Namaste, or center of the chest. Release the arms and take a moment. So I like to stop at this point sometimes to shake out my hands, roll my wrists, particularly after all of that side plank action. And it's a really nice point to stop, get a few breaths, which we can do also in a forward bend if you prefer. And we're going to further increase the limbering of this series. So this next few rounds, 2 I think, we're going to add a few more little bits and pieces. Okay. So when you're ready, coming back to the front of your yoga space, adjusting your clothing if needed. Mine always seems to move around. And then turning the palms forwards as you stand in Tadasana. Feel that readiness, that potential in the body. So there's that gentle lift perhaps in the belly, in the buttocks, a gentle drawing of the shoulder blades open so that they're towards each other rather, so the chest is open. And bringing to Namaste, or center of the chest. Inhale, reaching the arms up, opening the chest. And as you exhale, folding forward from the hips, you can bend your knees if you need to, hands to feet, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back. We're going to allow the knee to come to the mat as we exhale, and then just let your breath go. Let it be whatever it needs to be. We don't want the knee too far back. So I could step my knee very far back here, but I don't want that for this. We want the knees to be a little bit closer towards each other, so they create more of a square box underneath the body. And we're going to press down into both feet, firm the legs to come upright. And we're going to rest the left hand on the left thigh. Breathe in, take the right hand up. And breathe out, take the right hand down. See if you can just give yourself a little bit of a tuck under with the pelvis, a little bit of effort here. Breathe in, right hand up, and this time, breathe out, reach it over to the left side. Breathe in, back to the center, breathe out and down. Let's see if we can do it all in one go. Breathing in, reaching the right arm up and over to the left. Breathing out, coming back down to center. Let's do one more of those. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Excellent. So here, maybe just giving yourself a little bit more space between the knees. We're going to breathe in, reach the arms, both of them up, and just gently open into this lunge if that feels good to you. Breathing out and down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Excellent. Now we're going to place both hands down on the inside of our left foot and lengthen the right leg. So we need to step onto the right leg, onto the right foot. We can pivot on the left toes to turn them slightly forwards. We're going to leave the hands down here. Now, if you want a block underneath your hands, that's okay. And just gently bend and lengthen the right leg. So it's a little bit like this is sometimes called the surfer squat. Surfer squat. Just bend and lengthen. Very good. When we've done that a few times, maybe you want to hold just for a moment here. And then coming out, we're going to turn our feet back the way they were, place the hands flat on the floor and step into plank pose. Excellent stuff. And from here, we're not doing anything special in plank today or in this round. So we're exhaling knees, chest and forehead or chin. Now I'm just going to move these blocks out of the way for a moment. So for this round, we're going to do a back bending series. So I want to nestle our hips down into the floor. Press the feet down a little, press the pubic bone down a little perhaps, and reach your hands over your head so that the palms are down, facing down to the floor. As you inhale, keep your feet glued to the floor and lift your arms, head and chest up, and exhale down. Reach the arms out to shoulder height so you make a T shape. Breathe in, keep the lower body glued down. Inhale, lifting the head, chest and arms, exhaling down. Reaching the hands back behind you, palms turned upwards. Inhale, lower body glued, lift the head, chest and arms, exhaling down. Back to the front, reaching over the head, inhaling, lifting and lowering. Arms out to the side, inhaling, lifting and lowering. Arms down to the side, inhaling. Reach the fingertips behind you and lowering. Arms over the head, one more time. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Arms at the T, inhaling up, exhaling down. Arms by the sides, inhaling up, exhaling down. Hands underneath the shoulders, tucking your toes. Inhaling up into downward facing dog. Very good. So last time we did a three-legged dog, but you can give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. This is quite a nice position to release any excess tension from the previous practice. So we're going to do a little three-legged variation again. Pressing down into the arms and the legs, lifting the right leg up as you inhale. As you exhale, draw your right knee into your chest and your heel towards your buttock as much as you can, shoulders over the hands, exhaling. Inhaling, pressing back through the hands, lifting the leg, extending through the left heel as well. Exhaling, knee to chest, heel to buttock. Inhaling, releasing up. Exhaling, knee to chest, heel to buttock. Inhaling, releasing up. This time, exhaling, knee to chest, heel to buttock. And then inhaling, release the right foot to the floor. And I think we'll just do a gentle lunge here for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhaling as you step the left foot to the front and just spend a moment in your forward bend. So here, turning your hands back to the hands towards the floor or holding elbow to elbow, swaying the hips or swaying the upper body, whatever feels good to you. I like to turn my head from side to side. When you're ready to come to the center, coming to the center, and we're going to roll up this time. So we're going to soften the knees and drape the body as we press through the heels, press through the legs, and roll up one vertebra at a time. When you come up to standing, inhale, reach the arms over the head, look up ever so slightly, and then exhale, bring the hands back to the center of the chest. Excellent. Let's do all of that to the left. Inhale as you stand tall, turn the palms forward, Tadasana. Exhaling, hands to Namaste. Inhale, reaching up, opening the chest. Exhale, folding forward from the hips. So swallow diving down, hands to feet, head towards the knees. Inhale, step the left foot back, but not too far. Drop the knee to the mat and press into both feet to bring yourself into an upright position. Rest your right hand onto your right thigh. Inhale, the left arm up, and exhale, the left arm down. Tucking under ever so slightly, engaging the buttock, inhaling the left hand up, exhaling, reaching it over to the right, inhaling back to center, and exhaling down. Let's go all the way in, inhaling, reaching all the way over to the right, exhaling all the way back down, and one more like that, inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling. Now, maybe a little bit wider in the feet if you want to. Inhale, reaching the arms up, just drawing the pelvis towards the floor. Exhaling, pressing through the feet to come back to upright. Inhaling into a more open lunge. Exhaling, firm in the belly, firm in the buttocks. Inhaling, last one. Exhaling. We're going to take both hands to the inside of the right foot. And if you need to, you can use a little block underneath the hands. Lengthen through the left leg and turn the toes towards the long side of the mat. Turn the right toes towards the long side of the mat too. And then we're just gently lengthening by bending and stretching the left leg. We're lengthening all along the inner right thigh. A little bit into the hamstrings here as well. Maybe just one more. And then turning the feet back to the center. You can drop your back knee down if you want to. Press into your hands, come into your plank pose. And just holding in plank pose, nothing special here. Then exhaling down, knees, chest, chin. Point your toes, let your body become flat. Reach your arms out in front of you again. So palms to the floor over the head, forehead to the floor. This time we're going to lift both the upper and lower body at the same time. So we need to really be sure that we're strong in the center. So take a moment to press the pubic bone gently towards the floor. Engage the abdominal muscles and the buttocks just gently, not gripping, not holding, just ready for action. As you inhale, lift your arms, legs, head and chest off the floor. Exhaling down. Take the arms out to T-shaped shoulder height. Inhaling, arms, legs, head, chest, up. Exhaling down. Reach the arms down to the side, palms turned upwards. Inhaling, arms, legs, head, chest, up. Exhaling down. Reach the arms over the head, same thing. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Arms out to the side. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Arms down to the sides, palms up, inhaling up, exhaling down. Hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the back toes, inhaling into downward facing dog via hands and knees if you need to. In your downward dog, you can take a few paddling moments. You can do anything you like here. You don't ever need to follow the instructions, of course. So if you're ready to do your 3 dog variation, pressing into the right heel and the hands, inhale the left leg up, maybe looking slightly forwards. As you exhale, draw the left knee into the chest, heel to the buttock, shoulders over the hands. Inhaling back to your 3-legged dog variation. Exhaling, knee to chest, buttock to heel, shoulders to hands. Inhaling up. Exhaling. And then this time, inhaling, 3-legged dog. Exhaling and step your foot, left foot to the floor. Come into your lunge, just opening the chest for a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Step both feet to the front into your forward bend. And in your forward bend again, you can do any sort of gentle sways that feel good. Maybe a little bit of turning the head from side to side. Paddling through the legs. Taking a deep breath and sighing out through the mouth. When you're ready, you can soften the knees and we're going to roll up to standing. We're trying to move, articulate through the spine, sort of a little at a time. When you come up to standing, inhale the arms over the head. And then exhale, draw the palms together into the center of the chest. And release the arms to the side. Excellent stuff. Okay, so on this round, this round is not going to be an individual lunging round. We're going to take both feet back. We're going to do some different variations. So this isn't to each side in the same way. We're just doing it this way. Okay, so standing tall, facing forward, turning the palms forward, inhaling in Tadasana, and exhaling the hands together at the center of the chest. Inhale, reaching the arms up, open your chest, and then exhale as you bend only your knees. Lovely job. It's called chair posture, Utkatasana. Inhale here, and as you exhale, lengthen your tailbone behind you and just drape yourself forwards, falling forwards like a waterfall towards the floor. Take the hands onto the floor or your shins or your thighs. Lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs, and look forward. So you've got straightness through most of the body. It doesn't need to be rigidly straight. Exhaling as you fold. Place your hands onto the floor and jump, step, or skip your feet back behind you. So it doesn't matter which one of these you do. Stepping is just fine as well. Here in your plank pose, we're going to do a little exercise of knee to elbow. So bring your feet together, firm in the belly, draw your right knee to your right elbow and back to center, left knee to left elbow, back to center, right knee to right elbow, back to center, left knee to left elbow, back to center. Now underneath the body, right knee to left elbow, back to center, left knee to right elbow, back to center. One more to each side. Whew, it's difficult to do that and talk at the same time. And then in the center, exhaling knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor. Brilliant stuff. So this round, something a little bit different. So if you take your hands and you stack them one on top of the other and rest your forehead to the back of your hands, we're going to try to keep our forehead and arms and upper body fairly solidly connected with the ground. So we want that stability, that point of stableness from which we can move. And then gently pressing the left foot down, lift your right leg up. Doesn't need to be high, and lower. Press your right foot down, lift your left leg up and lower. Press the left foot down, lift the right leg up and lower. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg up and lower. This time, press the left foot down, lift the right leg up, and then just softly bend the knee to lift the heel a little higher. And then lengthen the leg and lower. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg up, softly bend the knee to lift the heel a little higher. Lengthen the leg and lower. Let's do that one more time to each side. Press down with the left, lift the right, softly bend the knee, lower the right leg down. Press down with the right foot, lift the left leg, bend the knee, and like that. This time, we're going to take the right foot behind the body a little. So, press down with the left foot, lift the right leg, softly bend the knee, and then reach the toe of the right foot behind the body, keeping your elbows and forearms still on the ground. And then back to center and release. You don't have to reach to the floor. It's not the plan. So press down with the right foot, lift the left leg, softly bend the knee, reach the left toes behind you, and then come back to center and release down. One more time to each side. Press the left foot down, lift the right leg, bend the knee, reach the right foot over, and back to center. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg, bend the knee, reach the left foot to the right, and back to center and down. This time, we're going to do a little bit further. So we're going to start with our forehead on our hands, left foot pressing down, lift the right leg, bend the knee, reach the right toes over, and as you get to wherever you naturally go to, lengthen your left arm over your head and roll onto your back. Your right foot comes to the floor first, and then bend in your left knee. So you're now lying on your back, probably off your yoga mat. Arms can be wherever they naturally fall. We're going to press into the heels, lift the hips, and make that hula hoop action that we did in our lunge earlier, but in bridge pose. So hula hooping in this direction and in the other direction as well. Very good. Then we're going to extend the left arm, the left leg, press off the right hand, roll back onto our bellies, and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Same thing on the other side. Going to press down with the right foot, lift the left leg, bend the knee, reach the left foot across behind you towards the right as far as it naturally goes, then lengthen the right arm over the head, roll to the right onto your back, take both feet to the floor, press down with the arms, press down with the heels and the arms, lift the hips and make hula hoops in this direction as well. I hope that I'm mostly on camera. Let's go in the other direction. And then to come out, release your hips down, extend your right arm and leg, press off the left foot to roll back onto your tummy. And in the center, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, come up into hands and knees this time. Take your hands wide. They can be turned out if you like, and your knees wide as well. And we're going to make that hula hooping action on the floor in our hands and knees position. So the idea is that we make a big circle with the navel, and you can keep the knees a little, well, the knees are soft. You can keep the elbows a little soft so that you really use the effort of your upper body muscles rather than the joints. Let's go in the other direction as well. Very good. This is such a nice way to release tension from the previous practice. Then here in the center, we're going to bring our knees towards each other. Just walk the hands back towards the body and see if you can sit on your heels with your toes tucked under. So for some people, that's not going to be comfortable for the knee or for another reason. So we can come up into this more upright position and then gently lower down a little bit. If you're able to get all the way down just to hold briefly, then that's fine, coming up and down. If you're able to simply sit in the position, hold the position for a few deep breaths. Whichever of these variations, we'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we're just going to come forward and untuck the toes. Gently give the toes a little bit of a wiggle, maybe here on your knees, rolling your feet at the ankles a few times. And then tucking the toes flat, same thing again, seeing if you can sit back onto the heels here. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, you can actually use a block or a cushion or something underneath the heels to give you a little bit more lift. Sometimes it's the flexion of the knee that prevents us from doing this. Sometimes it's the length across the front of the ankle. So whichever of those variations works for you. If this just doesn't work for your knees, it's okay, you don't need to do this. Take some more circles in your cat pose. If this feels okay and it doesn't feel particularly taxing, then you can lean back slightly onto your hands to open the space across the front of the pelvis. And sometimes that is all you need. But if your ankles feel really, really comfortable here, you might want to just lift your knees off the floor, give them a little bit more stretch. And amazingly enough, Sometimes it's ankle flexion that is the key to downward facing dog, rather than hamstrings or length across the calves. And then coming back to sitting again. So we've been doing a few things. We're going to finish this particular practice with Pigeon Pose. So from here, coming onto your hands and knees, if you were already there doing hula hoops, good stuff. And then uncurling yourself into downward facing dog. And so taking a moment to pad through the backs of the legs, particularly to extend the backs of the knees, just a touch. We're not trying to force anything, just to give them a slightly different shape. Then we're going to lift the right leg up, look slightly forward. And as you exhale, bend your right knee in and draw your right knee towards your hands. We want the outside of the right leg to be on the floor as we lengthen the left knee down. And we're going to keep an active pigeon. So again, you can use here your blocks if you would need to give yourself a little bit more space, a little bit more lift. And I find it very comfortable with blocks actually. So flexing the right foot if you need to protect your knee. If it feels really bad for your knee here, don't hold this posture. Rest out and I'll give you an alternative in a moment. For those of you who are comfortable here, we're gently rocking from one side to the other. So we're just lengthening across, feeling movement in the pelvis, in the hips, in the legs. And maybe in the center, you want to do a little bouncing on that back knee so you can lengthen and release. For those of you who love this posture, then you can fold forward into it if you would like to. I find that particularly on this side is not so useful for me. So, and those of you who would like to give yourselves a little bit more of a quadricep stretch can reach back for the left foot, either with the left hand or the right hand. Flex the left foot and gently wag your left foot from side to side like you were wagging a tail. Just taking a few deep breaths here. For those of you who are resting out, take this moment to do child's pose, maybe some side stretches. Or you can come onto your back, tuck your knees into your chest. If you feel not comfortable in the center, but if you drop your right hip to the floor, you feel comfortable there, then take an opportunity to practice like this. This is a perfectly valid variation of Pigeon Pose. We all have different pelvises, and I actually find this is much better for accessing a length across that outside area of my right hip. And then, of course, if you want to fold, you can fold. You don't have to take your head down to anything. The further ahead of you your arms are, the more intense the stretch. So bear that in mind. You might not want to give it your all. So holding a static stretch for extended periods of time, often in yin yoga we do that, but with very specific purpose. In our active practice, it's not so useful. That's why this sort of moving around, negotiating, finding space can be more useful. Okay, so let's come back out. We're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the back toe, uncurl the right leg into your three-legged dog, and then lengthening that right leg, roll your foot at the ankle 3 times in each direction, or a few times in each direction. And then drop your right foot down, do a little paddle through the heels. And we'll do the pigeon on our left side. So inhaling the left leg up, exhaling, drawing the knee into the chest. And we're going to take the knee up towards the hands, but with the outside edge of the leg and foot on the floor, lengthening back so that we bring our right knee down. And we're going to begin with a little side-to-side movement. Now, as you do that, I just want to talk to you about different positions for the foot here. So there are some people who will find it, they've got the rotation to have their shins almost parallel to the front edge of the mat. For me, if I did that, I would break myself. So my pelvis doesn't do that. So you can have your foot pointed back towards you a little bit. You can even have your left foot tucked right underneath your left buttock. So find the position that works for your pelvis, and it will be different perhaps from other people's. It must be something that suits your knee and your low back as well. When you've done a bit of side to side, you can pulse up and down, bending and stretching that back leg. I've got a creaky knee. And then if you'd like to, you can bend in your back foot, catching hold of it with the left or right hand, and then flexing the foot. So the flexing of the foot helps to protect the knee, and stabilize the knee even, and swaying the heel from side to side. And we do that because our muscles are not in straight lines. So quadriceps, there are 4 of them. If we go from side to side, we access different areas of them. Okie dokie. And releasing that heel down. If you want to, you can take your left buttock to the floor just to feel what the stretch is like there. And for those of you who would like to, you can fold forward over your front leg. I have to admit, it's a little bit more useful on this side than it was on the other side. If you're doing that, you might want to turn the top of your right foot to the floor. And if you prefer not to hold absolutely static, you can provide a little bit of support for the upper body and just sway from side to side. And that's really nice. It's a lovely way to get into the connections of the hip, the buttock, the low back, the legs. Coming back onto your hands, tucking the back toe under, uncurling yourself into 3-legged dog, and then lifting the left leg high as you roll the ankle a few times in each direction. And when you're ready, you can drop that foot down. I'm going to walk the feet up towards the hands, turn the feet wide, and then try to lower the hips down towards the heels to come into Malasana, the squat. So it doesn't matter where you are here. You could be up on your tiptoes and you can be up on blocks. You don't need to be into a full squat, but if you can, that's great. And again, if you're in your full squat, you might want to do a little bit of moving from side to side, that sort of nurturing movement for the hips. And from here, we're just going to sit down and then roll down to the floor. Whew. Very good. And with your knees into your chest, making any small movements that feel good. And for those of you who've been waiting for your pigeon variation, this is it. So if you're doing a pigeon variation, you take your right foot over your left leg so that the foot is free. You don't want to have any pressure on the outside of the foot, a sickling of the foot. We want to avoid that. And then you can draw your left knee into your chest and you'll get the same kind of stretch, the same kind of orientation. We just sway the left knee from side to side. So if you haven't done this variation before, you can always give it a go. And you can even take your left knee in circles and it will gently allow you to lengthen. So the muscles of the gluteus muscles, certainly the maximus and minimus are fan-shaped. And so this allows us to get into all the different areas of there. You can take a little rest in the middle before going to the opposite side. Just swaying side to side to begin with. And when you're ready, making circles. So that is the variation to use for pigeon when we're doing pigeon. I actually prefer this one myself. So when you're ready, you can bring the knees back into the chest. We're going to let the legs be free of our hands. So the hands can rest anywhere, and we're just going to move the legs in any direction that they want to go. So stirring the hips and the sockets, stirring the hips and the sockets, stirring the thigh bones and the hip sockets. Very good. And when you're ready, you can let your feet come to the floor one at a time. Feet nice and wide, and gently sway the knees from one side to the other. We're not trying to get anywhere in particular. Next time your knees go down to your left side, just let them rest there. And we're going to take the right arm over to the left arm. So we turn our upper bodies to the left as well. And then let the right arm make a circle up over the head and roll the back of the body, the upper body to the floor, and then do that again. So we're making a big circle, the legs stay where they are. We can roll, we can move in our hips a little bit, but essentially the feet and the knees are staying where they are. A couple of times. Next time your right arm is over your, by the side of your left ear, just allow the right shoulder to soften towards the floor. And at the same time, if you want to, if you've got space to do it, you might encourage the inner thigh of the right leg down towards the mat, the inner ankle of the right leg down towards the mat. If you have got space and you want to give yourself a little bit more, you can rest your left foot on top of your right thigh, and that will provide extra traction, extra weight to extend into this posture. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Maybe just one more. And then releasing your legs if they're one on top of the other, coming back to center, releasing your right arm down. I might have to shift on my mat a little bit. But just do a little really light sway in the center and then let the knees come down on the right side. So once the knees are in place, reaching the left hand over to the right hand. So you lift your whole body in that direction and then making big circles with the right hand over the head and round. Just slowing down there. The next time your left arm is alongside your left ear, just releasing the upper back. And then you can, if you've got room to move this left knee a little, this left leg, then you can ease the inner left thigh down to the mat, the inside of the left ankle. And if you want to, you can add the weight of the right foot on top of the left thigh, just to increase that sense of length. But remembering to do what feels best for your body. So you don't want it to be a strain or pain. Deep breath in. More is not always better with stretching. Deep breath out. In fact, it nearly always isn't better. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So we want to exercise our full range of motion, but without causing ourselves discomfort or injury. Coming back to center, uncrossing the legs. And here, we're just going to press into the feet and do a little shake of the tail. So a little shake from side to side. Try and make everything jiggle if you can. And release down. So here is a great time to do relaxation. If you've got any clothing you want to put on for relaxation, you can. If you've got a blanket. And today we're going to relax with the legs up the wall for a little while. So to come up, to be able to get to the wall, I'm going to bend my knees into my chest and just rock up into sitting. So finding your way to a piece of wall, if you want to, you can use a chair or a sofa or a bed or a bench. And instead of having your legs straight and leaning against something, you would bend your knees and rest your calves on the seat of the bench or the chair or the bed. But if you can, finding a piece of wall that you can easily rest your legs up against, resting your arms out to the side, and taking a few deep breaths. Settling yourself into this position and allowing your body to assimilate all of the effort that you've made, all of the work that you've done, all of the information that you've given your nervous system, your fascia, your synovial and spinal fluid, and your muscles, of course. Very gently roll your head from one side to the other. A couple of times in each direction, just a sway of the nose.
When you're ready, you can return your head to center. Take one last really purposeful breath and sigh out through your mouth. Allow your breath to fall into silence, your forehead to soften, the area around your eyes to relax, your mouth, tongue, and jaw to release. If you need something to focus on for your relaxation, you can focus on the sensations on the skin, the sensation of air on your face, the air moving on the soles of the feet, the sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. The sensation of your clothes moving on your skin as you breathe. The sensation of coolness of air coming in through the nose. And the warmth of the breath as it leaves the body. The tingling sensation of the scalp, forehead, face, releasing their holding patterns, their tension, and softening into relaxation. If you can, give yourself a longer relaxation and remain here as long as you can. 5, 10 more minutes. If you prefer to be lying down flat, you can move into that position now. Thank you all for joining me for this practice. I hope it leaves you feeling limbered, lubricated, restored, energized. And I hope to work with you again. Namaste.